Welcome to the Car Guys and Happy New Year!
So for this video we have got a super-sized Q&A lined up. We have had over 500 questions from you, which we have managed to distill down to our favourite 50. Damien and I are well rested after our Christmas break and we're ready to slap through them and give you some proper answers to the things that you care about the most. So without further ado, let's go for it.
That's right, folks. This week we threw the floor open to you and we asked you questions on YouTube and Instagram. Anything you wanted to know about cars, about us, just anything. We want to flush it all out at the start of the year. Remember, we do these Q&A sessions twice a year, but the New Year one is always the biggest and best.
Absolutely. This is the special one. This is where we say goodbye to the old, welcome in the new. And we do that with your questions.
I should highlight as well that I am wearing a Beans t-shirt, which I've just newly bought in dark blue.
Oh, very nice. I am not wearing any of our merch, unfortunately. Right, okay, Damien, let's go. What's the first question that we got on the list?
First question from Michael Bedell is, does the inequality in purchasing power between you and Jason ever cause friction?
Friction? No, not at all. No, Damien wishes he could have some of the more eclectic vehicles, but frankly he can't afford them, so it's not his fault. Craig Arnold would like to know, after many years of collecting some of the greatest cars, oh yes, what now brings you the greatest car-related joy or satisfaction? Well, what is it? What do you think?
I don't know, a hand job in the back of the Maybach? I think it's still the thrill of the chase. I think you know, wanting something, really hankering for it, researching, tracking it down, and then finally getting one, I think is probably still gives me the biggest buzz.
Yeah, I agree. It's that you get a little spark of an idea in your head and you think, oh, that would be really quite a cool thing to do, and then you spend all that time looking and trying to find it, and then when you finally get that one piece of the puzzle, yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Owen asks, do you two think that the Ferrari 348 is deserving of the hate that it gets?
Honestly, I have no idea. I've never driven one. I know it gets a lot of hate for it being very skittish, completely undrivable in anything but purely dry conditions. I don't know is the honest answer to that. What do you think? Have you ever driven one?
I have. I think it sort of does. I think if you drive a 348 and then you drive a 355, you realise the difference and you can understand why people don't like it. I think hate's maybe too strong a word, but it's definitely miles behind a 355. Teeny or Teen Jurek asks, what forgotten or unpopular classic would you like to buy?
Oh, this is really risky, isn't it, for me? Because I've always liked the really weird classic stuff. I actually have a bit of a hankering for a Citroen C5.
Really?
Or even I might go as far as saying the C6. You know the C6, which has got that long swooping roof. With, yeah, you see, I quite fancy one of those. I do.
I have to say, I do quite like those big Citroens. They never sell. They depreciate like you wouldn't believe.
Like
but
rocks,
there's something about those sort of like enormous, luxury, soft, plush Citroens that I agree with you. Actually, I think I get a special nipple tweak with those. I still like the Saab 900 Turbo, besides the fact that I haven't actually bought one yet, and I did have the chance to last year. I really like the Citroen SM, so staying on the Citroen theme. I've always loved the Maserati-powered Citroen SM. I think it's a beautiful car. And also, I've got an irrational sort of hankering for the very forgotten and unpopular Ferrari 612 Scaglietti.
Yeah, that's weird that you like that.
I know.
That's honestly very odd and
Don't know
quite
why.
troubling. David Walcott, he would like to know. We've had this kind of question before, but it's very similar, but it's a good one to ask. Remove all of your cars from your collection. Which one would you keep forever? I'm going to guess you're going 458 Aperta.
I am, yep. I'm going to go for the Speciale Aperta, the one that I spec'd, the ones that I picked up from the factory, and it's a limited edition Ferrari. So yeah, the all-round package, I think that's the one for me.
That's always going to be your choice. I think this precise moment in time, the car that I would keep above all others in my collection would be the Yaris.
Would it really? It's made that much impression that quickly.
It's just such a complete car. It's modern, so it never breaks down, and it feels like an old 90s car. And when you pull the handbrake up, you can do skids in private property.
Of course. So have you driven it much then since you picked it up?
Of course, I've driven it pretty much. Well, I've tried to get out almost every day. Christmas has got in the bloody way, but other than that, yeah, I've driven it every day. Getting my left foot braking down as well, which is quite nice. This is a skill that I'd lost. So I've only headbutted the steering wheel 4 times. And
the GR Yaris actually allows you to do left foot braking as well. A lot of the other ECU cars don't allow you anymore.
No, it allows you to do all the naughty things that we used to do when we were kids, but then were taken away from us by electronics, and we can go back and do them all now, which is brilliant fun.
Sam Child asks, what movie car would you like to own? It's a great question.
It is a great question. Magnum Ferrari.
Was there a film of Magnum?
Oh, no, I know. General Lee.
Oh, did they make a film of the General Lee?
Yeah, General Lee. Obviously, I'd have the Confederate flag removed.
See, I thought you were definitely going to go for the black Lamborghini Countach from the Cannonball Run there.
Well, yes, there is that as well. There's too many. I mean, the Cannonball Run in of itself has got about 8 cars in it you'd want.
I'm going to go for the 1960s Batmobile, which although was the Adam West TV series, there was still, I think, at least two films made with it. So for me, it's that. I just think that I had a little toy as a kid, like a Dinky, and I just absolutely adore that. I think there's about 4 of them in existence, but I would love to own a Batmobile from that era.
That would be amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Imagine that episode. It would be the greatest. If any of you out there have got a completely faithful replica of the Batmobile, the 60s one, please get in touch.
Yeah, and let us know where we can get some outfits as well.
All we'd do is we'd spend 30 minutes arguing over who's Batman and who's Robin.
Oh no, it's already done. You're Batman, I'm Robin, definitely. I just see every time I think about us doing that video, I immediately go to Only Fools and Horses with Delboy and Rodney in those outfits.
Of course.
And that would just be us. That would be us. It would be fantastic. It would be absolutely fantastic.
Right, that's got to happen. Okay, folks. Come on, I want everyone to get together. I want you to put out, please, all over the internet, we have to get a 60s Batmobile because we have to do that episode. After the Knight Rider one, check out the Knight Rider one if you haven't seen it, right? And then you'll realise just how incredible the Batmobile one truly would be.
Chris Nicotra would like to know, what's the furthest you travelled to pick up a car, and was the experience itself enjoyable or just a pain in the backside?
Reasonable question. Furthest I have ever gone to pick up a car was I had to go to Italy to pick up my Speciale from the factory. So it was a plane journey and then a 1,000-mile road trip across the Alps and a race to get to the Eurotunnel before it was closed due to protests.
The furthest I've ever gone, the Fiat, we picked the Fiat up, that was in Birmingham, but that was obviously trailered back. The other car which actually springs to mind is my 105 twin cam Fiat Strada, which I picked up just north of Ipswich. So it's not that far away for me, it's only a couple of hours, but the clutch had gone on it, so it kept slipping. So you couldn't do more than 1,500 RPM without the clutch slipping, and we had to stop 8 times on the way back because it boiled the engine. Any car you guys have sold and regretted selling so much that you bought another or would plan to buy one again?
Yes. Really? Yeah, for me, I've sort of always regretted selling my first 911, which was a 993 Carrera in midnight blue. I just remember everything about it. It was such a lovely, memorable car. Really felt like I'd got to the big time getting a 911 like that. Sold it, I think, in order to make way for a GT3, a 996, but I've always loved them, so I would easily go back there.
Yeah, there's nothing that I've sold that I want back. No, literally nothing.
Just wipe your hands, piss off, that's it. Goodbye.
Once I'm done with it, I'm done with it.
Never look back. Okay, Saul Goodman, who sounds like a character from Ocean's 11. If you had to buy one modern hypercar, what would it be? Money, no object.
Oh, the new Gordon Murray thing.
Ah, T50.
Now, 2-3 weeks ago, I wouldn't have said that car at all. That was at the bottom of my list until I heard the interview with Sir Chris Harris, and Gordon Murray, and that completely changed my mind on the whole project.
I've actually got the order form for that car. I've got a copy of it. Do you want me to send you one?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm going to go for, I think, since it's money no objects and it's hypercar-y, I'm going to go for the Valkyrie Aston Martin.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, V12, naturally aspirated, ludicrous. Yeah, that will be the one. That's
Adrian Newey.
Yeah, exactly.
Rufus would like to know, is an electric car ever going to come to the garage, or what might it be? This is controversial, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. My automatic answer would be no, definitely not. However, I could possibly see maybe having one just as a sort of run around for like the little crappy jobs and tasks that you do, just for that. But that would be it. It'd be nothing more than that. And actually, I really just don't see electric as the future, so I'd want to hold off as long as possible until the other options actually become viable.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's exactly my thoughts on the thing, because I would very, very happily take a small electric car for the little jobs around town that we do, you know, taking kids to various different clubs and all that kind of stuff. However, electric cars are hideously expensive to buy. The new Volkswagen ID3 is £35,000, as much as I just paid for the Yaris.
Exactly, that's GR Yaris money.
It's just ridiculous amounts of money. I looked at a Volvo XC40 pure electric, because I thought perfect little car, that would be great for little running around, get 4 kids in it, no problem at all. And they do a subscription service now, so you know, you can just pay their subscription, the car turns up, you can have it for a minimum of 3 hours, you know, give it back, whatever, which a lot of car companies are starting to do. £1,000 a month.
Yeah, it does seem a little expensive.
Way over the top. That Yaris cost me £300 a month.
The problem with EVs is that they are essentially washing machines. You know, they turn all of the beauty and passion and enjoyment of the car and they turn it into an electrical appliance. And I hate that. I hate it. Yeah, I just hate the idea of that. Yes, sometimes there's a place for that sort of thing, but I no longer commute. I've got, you know, no real reason to do all of those sort of reasons that you would buy an EV for. So that's why I'm able to resist it probably longer than most. But bottom line, people, electric cars are not the future. Okay, that is not a sustainable future. If you look at all the problems associated with the manufacture, the creating, the upkeep of electric cars, you will quickly come to the conclusion that that is a stupid path to go down. Even though all the governments and everyone's been sucked in with all the propaganda, if you properly do the maths and you think about it in a long-term basis, we need to find something else. And at the moment, that's going to be synthetic fuels or hydrogen.
Yeah, I think hydrogen's the way forward. Toyota have just released a hydrogen car. I think for a little run-around car, perfect for now, but not at the prices that they want for them.
Yeah, and I think we could do a whole episode where we just vent about this topic. So if you would like to see us do that, please leave it in the comments, because believe me, we would love to.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
J Lang 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 says, can I ask if there are things that you like and dislike about posting your cars on YouTube?
Yeah, of course. I do. Our YouTube thing is for fun because we like mucking around and we're a couple of little kids. And the comments are genuinely lovely to read. Our fan base is amazing, especially when you read the comments of some of our other YouTube colleagues, which basically are just 4-letter words in the first 20 different comments, and then something constructive. I think we do very, very well, and it is lovely to meet up with those people as well. I was in a garage. So do you remember the Yaris video, when we shot the Yaris video?
Yep.
Back at Octane. I came out of Octane, I drove to the nearest garage, I got out of the car to fill up, and some bloke yelled from his car window as he was driving along, I love your videos, mate!
That's amazing. That is amazing. That is
why we like doing it.
Yeah, that right? I have to say, you're right. You're totally right. I remember walking through Waterloo Station, hurrying for a train, and some guy just came out of an escalator and went, hey, car guys, love your videos. And that was it. Gone. They were gone into the melee of people. When we go live, you just get that expectation of what's going to happen, and then all the comments start flooding in. And you're right, our viewers are the best. You are the most intelligent and level-headed people that you could ever hope to have as viewers of a channel. That's what I like. Probably the ones I don't like, obviously, are the very small minority of total knobheads.
At Moss, if you could get Ferrari to make you the perfect car, what would it be and why?
I'm going to take the reins on this one, just first off. So for me, it's going to have to be manual, it's going to have to be small, it's going to have to be naturally aspirated, it's going to have no computers in it at all, and it's going to have to make lots and lots of noise, and of course be beautiful. So just make that, Ferrari, just make exactly that.
I would say small, V12, naturally aspirated.
Or what about a V12 F40?
I was going to say that, but that's too predictable.
Have you just had an accident? Have you just had an accident in your trousers?
I couldn't, my mind physically will not allow me to think about that while I'm on camera.
Christian Bliss asks, if you were the boss of Ferrari, what direction would you take the company in? Very good question.
So now I'm going to get in here first before we go on a 20-minute rant, because I've got, I'm going to go over here. I would just slow down.
Hey, slow down, man.
Just remember that caramel advert with the bunny? Hey,
just take it easy.
Just take it easy. That's what I would say. Slow down. You don't need this many models.
I've probably gone a little bit more sort of macro, really, on some of the points, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How odd.
Yeah, strange.
Settle back, ladies and gentlemen, this could be a long one.
Exactly. How long have we got? Yeah, how much tape have we got left? Right, so I've got 5 points that I sort of came up with in response to this question. So first one would be to separate the impending FUV sort of crossover Ferrari into a separate production line entirely from all the other cars, so it doesn't get in the way or clog it up or mean that people get their cars even later. I would reduce the time it takes from the launch of a car to people actually getting them, to try and reduce the flipping and the huge delays between ordering a car and then it actually arriving, which is probably one of the biggest frustrations for Ferrari people at the moment. I would announce coupes and spiders simultaneously, so I wouldn't stagger the launch. I would just say, look, it's a folding hardtop now, everyone knows it is, so which one do you want? Do you want the hardtop or do you want the spider? Just do it all at once. I would then also open up, like Aston Martin has got, a historic works type division which can upgrade the older cars, but also crucially means that you could buy factory conversions from flappy paddle Ferraris and convert them back to manual, so you could have a manual 458, for example. I would do that. And I would also bring back numbered special models, just so that there's always something special to aim for, and you've also got a better idea of how many are produced, because at the moment, even the special cars, you have no idea how many they produce, but it is a lot more than you think.
And nothing about indicators either. I mean, amazing. Okay, Michael Bedell would like to know, some people who drive supercars can be the type of people that you will want to avoid. True, that, true. What happens when you're on an organised driving tour and you have that type of people in your group, Damien?
Keep the windows closed.
People is people. Some people are nice, some people aren't. You just have to put up with it. If you want to go on these events, there's always going to be one knob.
The golden era of cars has ended. And now with the inevitable onslaught of EVs and the banning of combustion engines, discuss.
Oh, well, we might as well give up now then. I'm off. See ya.
I know, way to have a downer, architect, in black.
Blimey, easy.
My view on this, and again, we could do an entire episode on this, and I think actually we probably should, because it is a fascinating and interesting subject, and we do have quite strong views on it. But in a nutshell, I firmly believe, as Jay Leno does, that regular engine cars in the future will become more like horses were in the past, where suddenly they're not being used for essential work and being regularly abused. They in fact become casual playthings that are highly valued. People love them. They don't use them as much and they don't use them for all the daily stuff, but they become leisure pursuits, and so they are still highly treasured and still seen on the roads.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's exactly how I think it's going to go. This 2030 cut-off, which we'll get to another question, there will always be some sort of petrol car around, or a car that runs on fossil fuels or synthetic versions of those fossil fuels, because When you think about the amount of vehicles that are in existence, it's just not going to go away. You can't flick a switch, turn them off, park them up and never drive them again. That's not happening.
Jared Hodge asks, do you think the public hate of supercars will grow in the coming decades?
I don't think there is a public hate of supercars, is there?
Of course, you're always going to get a small section of the public that see them as these sort of archaic, polluting monsters, but frankly, who cares about them? And okay, if they sort of hate on them, fine, but you know, they probably won't notice which way you went, so who cares? As they bumble along in their, you know, cauliflower powered little white bubbles, we'll just blast them into the weeds with a lovely gurgling V8.
Haters are gonna hate. That's all there is. I'll tell you what I do witness in my children is very much a meh attitude. So when I was a kid, supercars were such a rare thing that the only time you could see them was if you had an Athena poster.
It's kind of like their dad's Fleetwood Mac collection. You know, they understand that they've got it. They know why he does. It's not their sort of thing. They don't want to listen to it, but they don't mind that dad sticks his headphones on and listens to it on a Sunday.
Exactly.
Maddie25, thoughts on the 2030 ban and how to face it?
I don't believe it is going to be a blanket ban. Or they've picked that date 15 years in the future because they've spoken to the petrochemical companies and they've all decided they could produce synthetic fuels, which when it gets to 2035 they go, you can't use gasoline and petrol, but you can use this new synthetic magic liquid.
It all sounds like doom and gloom, but you've got multiple layers of this. Will it actually happen in there? So you've got 2030 supposed ban of new petrol and diesel cars. Okay, so all the old ones are still there. So therefore, if you want a tip, just buy the best possible petrol car just before the ban and then keep it forever. There you go. There's one solution. All that's going to happen, hopefully, is synthetic fuel will replace normal fuel, so you'll get that. I think it'll be pushed back anyway. I think it'll fizzle around a little bit, and before you know it, we're all driving the same sort of cars, but they're just using different power plants, and that's it. No biggie whatsoever.
Yeah.
And maybe by then they'll have realised what a stupid, unworkable system EVs are.
All right. That's another episode right there.
Sorry. Save it up. Save it up.
Any interest in the 2021 V6 McLaren? No. John Turl, what do you most enjoy about the experience of driving?
What do I least enjoy is other idiots driving badly. And what do I most enjoy? I think the challenge of taking a well-sorted car on a great road and experiencing the handling and the speed and the noise.
Excellent. Yeah, the thing I least enjoy about driving is other road users. And that's a blanket on all of them, including you, John. What I most enjoy about driving is literally everything. There isn't an aspect of driving I don't like. It's all just an amazing experience. I just love the whole thing. I love everything about it. Whether you're going fast, whether you're going slow, if you're in something comfortable and slow, but lots of gadgets, whether you're in something that's stripped out and fast and just crazy. They're all so different experiences, and every time you get in your car and you drive it anywhere, each journey is a completely different experience. It's just amazing. Driving cars is just the best.
It's a good job you're in the car guys then.
Exactly.
Vedant M. Gore asks, what car do you love but would hate to own?
Oh, Jesus.
For me, that would be the Lamborghini Miura. I love that car, but I can't even imagine how difficult it must be to keep them going and on the road without them bursting into flames.
I was thinking the same thing about Countach. I'd love to own a Countach, but I think it would be horrendous. Carrera GT, again, another car that looks amazing, but you get that clutch wrong once, that's 30 grand out of pocket. Things like an EB110, right, looks amazing, apparently it drives horribly.
Would you buy one of the turbos for an EB110 now?
Well, God knows.
Dylan.Kane, any new Porsche on the horizon like the 992 GT3?
I don't think you're allowed any new Porsches ever, are you?
No, I think no. The answer is no. I mean, I'm not sure I'm that far gone. I think if I put out the video that I recorded about Porsche 2 weeks ago. If I put that out now, that would be the end of everything ever. But I haven't put it out yet because I'm giving them a chance to reply. So, you know, we'll see what happens in the future. But it's there, ready to go.
Okay. Most anticipated car to arrive in 2021.
I'm drawing a blank here.
Yeah, me too. I honestly, I don't really. I'm not really anticipating anything.
I'm quite looking forward to the 812 Superfast GTO being announced. I'm quite interested to see what that's like.
Okay.
Baz Lonergan says, will the 458 be more expensive than the 488 in years to come?
Yeah,
yes.
For sure.
Yes, it will.
Absolutely. How would you like to see manufacturers handle customer relationships better in 2021? Well, over to you, Mr. D. My relationship with Toyota has been absolutely amazing. I'm guessing you've got a few stories to tell. Let me just grab my coffee. And off we go.
Yes. Obviously, there are some improvements that could be made. Although, actually, I think in a lot of cases it's the dealer network, not the manufacturer, that is to fault. But just off the top of my head, I'm going to say quicker delivery times. So getting your cars more quickly stops flipping or reduces flipping, so that's got to be a good thing. And also I would say strict penalties for dealers that engage in, shall we say, nefarious practices.
Nefarious practices.
Yes, I think that would probably help. I think manufacturers should really crack down on some of the bartering that's going on in order to get the special cars, and some of the slightly awkward brown envelope type conversations that might be going on. I think that needs to be cracked down on.
You shouldn't have to buy 5 or 6 other models that are currently sitting in the dealership before you get offered to buy a special car. You should just be able to buy whatever car you want.
Yeah, how many humdrum Toyotas did you have to buy to get your GR Yaris allocation?
Let me see now. There was none.
None, exactly. And how excited are we about the GR Yaris, despite the fact that they're making 25,000 of them, so they're not rare, but nonetheless, how excited are we about it?
Amazing. Yeah, totally. It's an incredible thing. We are no less excited about it because there's 25,000 of them. And customer cars turned up 2 weeks after the press launch. 2 weeks, not 2 years, not 3 years. Oh no, sorry, we've had to give your car to somebody else who was higher up the list than you because he gave us a little bit more money than you did last year. No, 2 weeks.
German Detailing UK asks, what era of car excites you the most?
Toughy. 80s and 90s?
Yeah, 90s for me, I think. I mean, yeah, you're right, some 80s, but 90s, I think, has got the largest collection of cars that we love and either own or lust after.
Yeah, for sure. And for our parents, for our fathers, it would have been the 60s and 70s, and for their parents and fathers and grandfathers, it would have been... It's just cyclical. My children will lust after all of the crazy Hurricanes when they get to my age, I'm pretty sure.
Cardwell Graham asks, what fast Ford RS would you buy, money and no object?
RS200.
Really?
Yes.
I was going to put that, but then I thought, actually, would I really want one of those? I'm not sure. I mean, they are terrifying things.
Exactly.
Oh my God. They've got no wheelbase whatsoever.
No.
The entire back lifts up, and inside is a turbo the size of a dustbin lid.
And what is bad about any of that? Nothing, I hear you cry.
I would say the only bad thing about that is the impact that you have with the tree on the first roundabout.
The styling's not brilliant either.
I think I'm still going to go for the RS Cosworth Big Wing. I just think, you know, they're not super money, they're not loads of money, but I've just always loved those, so I think I'd probably go for that.
Living X Large, what are your thoughts on the new Lamborghini Huracan STO?
There you go. Can I just answer in a noise?
That's enough. Okay, let's move on. Joe Cooper 6769. If you could have any classic car modded to the same level as Singer, what would it be?
I think I would like to have a super beautiful inside and out Lamborghini Countach.
I was actually on eBay no less than last night going through old cars that I thought potentially you could buy and turn into something very similar. I actually settled on, you can't, they're quite rare, so it wouldn't really work very well, but the Celica, an old Celica, you know, the ones with the twin headlights, like the pre-My version and the pre-that
Pre-swoopy. Okay, yeah, they would be amazing.
That would be amazing as a proper singer, a properly gorgeous, you know, decked out, really, yeah.
Ben Roachford, 91. Favourite Rover?
Favourite Rover?
Have you got a favourite Rover?
P4.
P4? Why a P4?
Because it's a police car, you know, when you were kids on that police show, what was it?
Z-Cars?
Z-Cars, see? Z-Cars, there you go.
Was it? I'm going to go for SD1 because I always loved the Rover SD1, and I remember I had I got bought a Corgi, I think it was, touring car one, the triplex one that Tiff Needell races when he does Classic Goodwood, a triplex Rover SD1. That's just got a very special place in my heart. Harry, have you been ignored by dealerships even though you have the cash? Do you know what, Harry? Yes, I have. I've got a lovely story about going into McLaren Park Lane just to have a look at a car that was in the dealership. I think it might have been a 650S, and they actually stopped me from coming in, and they said, excuse me, I'm afraid you can't come in to view that car because we've got a very important person coming to look at it. So could you please leave the dealership? So yeah, there you go. That's my McLaren story.
Oh shit, that's bad, isn't it?
Matt McLean, 84. Would you ever consider a Morgan?
No. Next question.
Really, I possibly would, just because I'm quite patriotic, and I probably they announced actually. They announced last year, 2020. They announced that they were going to stop making the three-wheeler. You know, the iconic three-wheeler.
Good.
And I did have, I confess, a sudden surge to maybe get one of the final editions.
So this just goes. This is your standard. This is your what we call your MO. Insert name of car manufacturer, decides to stop making insert name of model, insert Damien then wants to buy insert name of model and car.
Yeah, I did come to my senses quite quickly, I have to say, and decided not to do that.
Not in a million years would I buy a Morgan. Even if you gave me a Morgan, I would set fire to it.
127 McLean says, how many hours does it take a week to make the channel? Well, it's about 2 to 3 days, basically, which is why we only do one a week, because obviously the planning, the filming, and then the editing, that takes up a tremendous amount of time. And let's face it, we've both also got lives that we need to actually do rather than doing this all the time. So we're not like these young YouTubers or trust fund kids that have just got loads of time just to do daily videos. We just can't afford that time. So what we decided early on with the channel is that we would do one quality video a week rather than trying to do 3 or 4 quickie ones. Obviously it does mean that we are therefore penalised by YouTube's algorithm, and therefore we won't grow as quickly, but you know, we're doing it for the fun of it. So the growth, the subscriptions of the channel is a fantastic benchmark for us to judge how well we're doing creatively.
Are you going to get a new Audi RS6 Avant? Asks CZA Harris.
No, I think I had the old one, which I loved, and I sort of prefer that.
Yeah, I think they're amazing, but they're not big enough for my life, unfortunately. I need something with many more seats than that.
Ferrari.classic asks, is a Roma a future member of the garage? No. It's not, mainly because I've not really seen one in the flesh, and I've especially not driven one.
The Dan Marshy, will synthetic fuel save us all? Well, I refer our learned gentleman to our previous comment.
I would say it might, yeah, it might, and it's certainly got more potential than electricity. Roger Chan asks, if you were invited to launch events as influencers, would you go, and if not, why?
I don't think we're influencers. If anybody pays any attention to anything we say, then let it be on your head only, frankly. I'd quite like to go to some of these events. It's just fitting it in. We're busy people. We've got very busy lives. It's not easy just to drop everything and go off tripping around the world.
I'd go to experience the car, but I would not go to make a video about it, because you're not creating a video in the right circumstances, and
everybody else is doing
well.
one.
You'd have to be rushed. You'd have to be part of that whole merry-go-round, which I absolutely hate. So I'd love to be able to drive the cars so that I've got a benchmark and I can use that, but I wouldn't be doing it to make videos, which therefore means we wouldn't be invited either, technically, because they want you to make the videos. JM on Cars asks, if you were to have a Lotus in your collection, what would it be?
I've already got one. I've got a Talbot Lotus. That not count?
Does that count? I'm not sure that counts.
No, I'm not sure it counts either.
Proper full fat Lotus.
Full fat Lotus, yeah. Esprit Series 3, James Bond.
Yeah, I think Turbo Esprit would be the one I was looking for. I don't mind if it's a late 70s one or whether it's one of the last runs. Probably one of the last ones. I think they did like a 350, from memory.
Yeah.
That would be the one. I would quite happily have one of those, no problem.
TGE London says, when are you buying a YouTuber Edition DBX or a Shmee-spec Roma?
I know what you're doing there, Tom. I know what you're doing.
Very naughty boy, Tom.
Yes, never.
Unfortunately
never.
not. No, we're not cool enough.
Clive Spikey asks, any classic Benzes on the horizon?
Oh dear. Yeah, well, I've got a hankering for a 70s 280 SL.
Lovely.
Oh, can't get it out of my mind.
I've got a hankering for the 600 Grosser. I've come close to buying a 600 Grosser a couple of times, and I absolutely love them, but I'm petrified about all the hydraulics going wrong.
And you'd have to clear out 6 cars to even fit it in the garage.
I know, I just love it. Proper Robert Mugabe spec.
Oh yeah, got to be done. When will we see the 458 Speciale Aperta versus the 488 Pista Spider? Oh,
definitely this year. Definitely this year. That is a episode that we have to make. Hans Baraka Dan says, can we expect a review of the 992 Turbo S on this channel?
No, not unless someone gives us one.
Yeah, not unless we're given one or we buy one, unfortunately, because obviously we don't have one.
Daniel R_S_1.0, would you ever start your own car dealership?
No. I find it impossible to sell cars. It's very difficult for me. So all that would happen is I would just keep buying them and never selling them. So it would go bust. TDG006 asks, which car in your current collection would you drive around the world with? So for me, it would be the 718 Spider or the Pista Spider, I reckon, because both would be reliable. You can have the roof up or down, and they're both tremendous fun.
I'm going to be really boring and practical.
Oh, no.
I'd take the Volvo.
Oh my goodness, no you wouldn't. That's not allowed.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
No, the answer is the GR Yaris. It's the GR Yaris, all right?
Definitely Yaris.
Or if you wanted to be proper car guys, then it should be the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus. That's what it should be. That's your proper answer.
I think that was, as long as I could fill up the boot with spares and spanners, I think that would be fine. I think you'd easily do it then.
Seb Ugalde says, what are your thoughts on McLaren customer service and build quality? Well, for me, Seb, to be honest, I've never had an issue with my McLaren. I've never had a problem with the service levels, and I've never had a problem really with reliability. There's only been one small thing that happened to the 675 LT, and I was able to fix it myself. So I have to say, against the run of play, I don't really have a problem with McLaren in that regard.
Supercar_spy, one car you wish you had an allocation for?
I mean, there's not many. I think maybe the 812 GTO Ferrari. I kind of wish I had an allocation for that.
Burn that bridge.
Yeah.
Would. I'd quite like to have an allocation for a 992 GT3 RS.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I'd like to have an allocation for that, but that again,
yeah,
never gonna happen.
What he said, what he said, I'd quite like that. But unfortunately, we haven't bought enough used Cayennes or Macans in horrendous colours and specs to be able to qualify. Sadly,
unfortunately.
And Flub 1976 asks, what's the first place you're heading to when this COVID thing is over, and in what car?
I think the Scottish Highlands in the Talbot.
Oh, that would be amazing.
It would be amazing.
Can you? Oh, that would just be the greatest. Right, we definitely have to do that because that would be the greatest thing. But
Yeah,
could we transport it up there though, so that we didn't have to spend 4 hours on a motorway in it?
Oh, God, yes, absolutely. We are definitely transporting up. There is no way I'm spending 4 hours on a motorway in that car. But the driving experience across the Highland would be out of this world.
Yes, we're going to do that. So we'll make a pledge to you now, Car Guys viewers, that once the COVID nonsense is out of the way, we're going to take the Talbot up to Scotland. How about that?
Yes.
Sound good?
Sure.
Excellent. My answer to this one is the GT3 Touring, and I'm going to be taking it on a tour around Germany and some of the best roads around there, and to the factory as well. Doing that with supercar driver and car friend Tom. So there you go, guys. That's our big New Year questions and answers extravaganza.
A bumper bag.
A bumper bag indeed. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found our answers entertaining and possibly even useful.
And informative and influencing.
We hope we've influenced you to keep watching the channel.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave comments, ding that notification bell for when we have another episode uploaded.
And there'll be another episode of The Car Guys next week.